Hey, this is Carl at Triple R LLC. I am showing you guys a quick little kitchen renovation flip. These homeowners decided to do all the work themselves. They're looking at some ideas for what they want to do with their kitchen. They're having problems with you can see the stain there on the ceiling from their stovetop, and they realized they wanted to get a hood vent installed. So, and while they're at it, they're like, okay, let's just go ahead and redo. They're gonna do open shelves, floating shelves, instead of cabinets here, and doing that open look. So they called me up and like, hey, can we have someone just finish this? They're reusing the same tile. So we're gonna pick a line. I think it's from this row up. We're gonna demo everything else. So they're gonna take care of the rest of that. And then we're gonna tile all the way up to the ceiling. And then we are going to get a hood vent, and I'm going to be ordering some products from Amazon for installing rods into the studs. I'll just go over the tile and just be as careful as I can to make sure when I put those on, I'm not going to crack anything. I have some give with the flowing shelves and what's going to be hidden. But I'm just going to go directly to studs. We're not doing any blocking. We didn't want to open up any drywall. We're trying to reduce costs here. But we're trying to, homeless, I'm trying to help out people with, they want to update their home, make it look beautiful, and kind of do a lot of what they can to reduce their costs. And I'm willing to work with people a little bit with, with my labor costs and help them provide some materials. And so I'm excited. I'm having a friend of mine, another good, competent contractor type guy, works with my brother-in-law, gonna help me with the tile. I'll get started with the tile and he'll help finish it. And then I'll come back and do the installs for the HVAC, which is gonna be, this space here. We have the chase right there with a lot of HVAC, plumbing, electrical in there. So we're gonna come right out the wall here, penetrate out rigid, out to the exterior wall of the garage. And that's how we're getting the vent hood piping done. And I'm excited to do this quick little flip with the homeowners. Should be a beautiful project. I think they're going for that Pinterest design that they found, and I think it's going to look really good. So I'm excited for this project and to see how it goes. Should go well. This is Carl at Triple R LLC. We're going a little kitchen. I'll call it a revival. I guess it's kind of a small little flip. Because we took tile all the way to the ceiling. I'm doing some shelving with hidden fasteners. I just installed this new hood vent, and it's pretty sweet. Still working on the HVAC. Let me buy a piece of piping, but one thing I did with this is, and I have pictures, is we had to come through here. There's a chase, we couldn't go up into the ceiling. There's a chase right there with all the HVAC, there's trunks there. And so I had to come right through the wall here. I'm running out the wall there to this exterior penetration. And unfortunately with the studs and where things are at, couldn't bring any farther over, but high enough to get it out of the way of this utility opening here. It's kind of a cool little project. I have on the other side, I had a lot of space behind the chimney for the vent. So I put some tape and then some flashing tape over the orange painter's tape. And first I did some foam insulation behind there because, since this is a exterior wall, I gotta make sure it's insulated and that there's not a lot of airflow. So I sealed that up nice and tight. I got a nice tight penetration from the side and a good one from the inside with the tile. And then, I got a good setup here to make things tight. There's no insulation in this garage wall, of course. So, but just nice little fun little job. I'm excited to get these shelves up. They got butcher board here, and it's already stained, and I gotta cut it up, and I gotta put these hidden fasteners onto the wall, and I gotta notch them into the wood, and I'm going to set up a workstation here very shortly to get a little and build some jigs to help me with this. So I'm excited for the look at the end of this. So it should be fun. Hey, this is Carl, Triple R LLC. I am working on the shelves project on the little kitchen remodel. I guess I call it just like a revival. It's hard for me to use those different R words: renovations, revival, reformation. I guess I'll call it reformation because they're keeping everything intact except for adding, the tile and then doing the shelving, getting rid of the cabinets in. Right now, I was going to show you guys how I'm doing the shelves because I have a hidden fastener system. I wasn't sure. They didn't want to increase their, we're trying to do a budget. They didn't want me to do a bunch of drywall work and install these guys early on because I would have, in ways I would have had to redo some of the drywall. And anyway, so we went and put these on top of the tile. I'll show you that. As you can see in some of the pictures, if you've been looking at my project pictures. But so now what that does for me, and the challenging part of doing it that way, it was easier to install it, marking studs, measuring studs. I knew where the studs were, and using laser level and getting everything with tape and outlining everything and putting it all together wasn't that hard. This is the more difficult phase now. But what I'm doing is I just use a jig because, my these shelving units are going to be sitting, whatever the tile is doing, they're going to kind of work with the tile. So they're not always plumb, they're not always flush, might be a little bit angled, whatever. So I'm using, other lumber to kind of set my lumber up there, cut it to the length of the shelf. I've ripped down my shelves, and I am, have this. These come with a nice little setup here, a little jig. But I am using this lumber here. I set the lumber on top of these poles, mark them, outline them, so I can kind of see how straight they are, and I can kind of mark them. And then I'm just using some trim screws with this little jig to, if I need to alter the angle a little bit and change things a little bit, I can go ahead and do that with just keep using this guy and just use the screws to kind of butt it out or change the angle. And if I have to, I can loosen some of the screws a tiny bit. And then once on the ones on the wall, if they need to have a tiny bit of movement to get in there. But so this should work. And then once I drill my holes, I'm going to router the back end so they sit flush against the wall. So once I drill my holes, I'll put this in there, outline it, and then I'll have my router bits, and I'll come back and I'll take out the depth here. I can get my depth here and then do it with my router bit. So yeah, I'm praying and hoping this goes well. I'm sure it will. But this is definitely a challenging task. And sometimes I think I gotta just say, as a contractor, you gotta just, if you want to do things and making sure you can get a really good outcome, sometimes you got maybe increase the price a little bit to make sure you can say, hey, I gotta do these little things first, and if that costs too much, then I can't do it for you. I enjoy doing difficult things and growing and just kind of figuring things out. I feel like that just grows me in my confidence to just kind of think of ways, to be creative, think of ways to get things done well in difficult situations. So I take on these tasks, I enjoy them, and I still am, paying my expenses, making money, so I'm happy as well. So this will be a good addition to my growing portfolio.